Riding with the Rabbi.
Okay, friends, hello. By the way, it's been a long time since we had Riding with the Rabbi, but first of all, we had some production, some union issues, but really I was just waiting for the right guest, and we have that guest today. I want to welcome my good friend, great friend of the shul, Ed Meinhardt, Mayor Ed Meinhardt. Your Hebrew name is not Mayor, is it?
It is not.
Okay.
It's David, by the way.
David. Okay, Mayor David, outgoing mayor. Your term is ending in a few days, right?
January 4th.
Is that a sense of relief, or is it what's that like, being an outgoing mayor? I mean, you've done this before, right?
This is my third job. This will be finishing my third term as mayor of Livingston. Third time as mayor of Livingston. The mayor is a one-year gig, as we call it. And the nice thing about being the mayor is that while it takes a little bit more and a little bit more of ribbon cuttings, a little bit more time, we always get everything that's decided in Livingston is based on a 5-person vote, and everybody has their opinion. So while it's nice to have the title, don't get me wrong, I think everybody enjoys the title a little bit. It's also just nice to be on the council and to help the residents of Livingston.
As we drive by Reaper's house.
As we pass, who I was with actually last night at a 43-year retirement party for the planning and zoning board attorney who just retired.
Wow.
I was with Doc Reber.
That's a lot of variances.
A lot of variances over his years and a lot of resolutions that he wrote. So, but being the mayor is, listen, why I'm here is just because I enjoy helping, and the two words that I talk about all the time wherever I go, mayor, not mayor, is giving back. I think that to me is the importance of what I do and how I do it, and what I like to do is to give back and to help those who need help.
You have a real job, right?
I have a real job.
What do you?
I actually work for a company, a Livingston-based company, architects, engineers, and civil engineers, and mechanical and plumbing. So it's like a little bit of a shameless plug right away in case anyone's looking to build a commercial or multifamily building.
Too bad we don't have anybody in that business.
Exactly, just a few people. Just a few people in your show. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's always a shameless plug.
Darn.
But I don't know anything about. As the gentleman who I worked for, who is a 58-year resident of Livingston, second-generation family business, he'll tell you I know nothing about what we do, but I'm really good at talking to people and bringing in business. Okay. And so that's what I do.
So there's a good synergy between that and.
It's a very good synergy, and just it's great because I'm very fortunate to work for a gentleman who understands that it's not always about being in the office. It's about going out and talking to people, and the more people you talk to, eventually that's what happens. So I'm not micromanaged, and I have an entrepreneurial spirit in me, so that alone is good for me because I enjoy not being micromanaged.
Okay. How much time would you say you dedicate to the township on a weekly basis?
Interesting question. I guess the weeks that we have our meetings, so we do meet twice a month on Monday nights. So when we have those Monday night meetings, the number goes up by at least 4 hours. So I would say on those, I'm going to give it 12 to 14 hours maybe a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what's going on in town. And other towns, 6-8 hours a week, I would say is a good number.
I mean, that's a healthy commitment. It's
a healthy commitment, but it really varies. It's tough to really put a number on that. People ask me that question a lot, actually. And it's really tough to say it's an exact number because every day, every hour, every day, every week varies by what's happening. So, I mean, this morning, I started at 8 o'clock this morning. We were on Zoom for 90 minutes. Already. So, and I was on a few Zooms yesterday about it.
Right,
so
that's how
it all depends.
Now, did you always have a knack for politics? Did you want to be in politics, or like? So, you're from Livingston?
I grew up in Short Hills. Okay. So I haven't gone very far in life. One town over. But,
I think you've gone pretty far.
Thank you. But I actually didn't really. When I got to college, is kind of I was a little bit of a and I admit it. And I tell all my friends, I was definitely a little bit of a nerdy kid when I left high school. I was a little shy. I'm an only child. I grew up in a very, very European household. I'm a first-generation born American. So I think I was brought up in a little bit of a sheltered way. And I got to college, and I was able to sort of spread my wings a little bit. I was very involved in college and what I call politics. I was. In my sophomore year, I became vice president of my class.
Where'd you go to college?
Boston University.
Okay.
And so sophomore year, I was vice president of my class. Junior year, I was what they call a senator, which was each of the undergraduate schools had 2 senators, similar to what we have in the United States. So I represented the School of Management as a state senator. And then senior year, I was also part of the government as well, from the school side stuff. So I've always been involved with that. And I didn't, after I lived in New York City for a few years working, and then we came out to Jersey and bought a house in Livingston now 30 years ago. And really my first love has always been to my temple. I'm very proud to say that my kids are the 4th generation of my family to be part of Temple B'nai Abraham here in Livingston, obviously in New York prior to that. And they were bar mitzvahed and I was bar mitzvahed under the same Ner Tamid that my folks were married in 1962 in Newark as well.
Rabbi Prince married them?
Dr. Prince married. Dr. Prince married my parents. And
he goes by Doctor, not Rabbi?
Well, I always called him Doctor again. So, like I said earlier, it was that whole German Jewish upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, I tell the story. My dad used to tell the story that he's not only a Yekka, he was a super Yekka.
Right. So he's really on time.
Really on time. So for me, 10 o'clock is always 9:45.
I'm with you, by the way. So we get along. I went to Breuer's.
Oh, right.
Which is the Yeki school.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so
David Halpern and I, not at the same time, but we both went to that school in Washington Heights.
Okay, yeah. So Washington Heights, so interesting enough, that's where there was a big German-Jewish community. Sure. And, since we're having some fun stories, on every Sunday, we used to drive from Short Hills, every other Sunday. My dad had an aunt who lived in Washington Heights, and there was a German kosher butcher called Blochenfalk.
Yeah.
And that's where we would go every other Sunday before we were
get
told,
some Aufschnitt.
Yes, and before we were...
Schwarzwald-Kirschtorten.
And the salamis were handing out.
And Grunnebaum's Bakery. Exactly.
But the funny thing about the Blochenfalk is that was way before they told us that cold cuts weren't good for us. So we used to come back with pounds and pounds of cold cuts. Yeah. And our family secret was everywhere we traveled. I was fortunate to take a lot of family trips, including 2 to Israel with my parents, and we always went with a kosher salami. And we have pictures. I have pictures of all of us, whether it be in Europe or in Israel, everywhere we went, cutting into a kosher salami from Blochenfalk.
That's something. Wow. So we didn't. Who knew?
So that's exactly the Washington Heights story. And when I came back to Jersey, I decided that after being involved in the town for a little bit through the soccer club, which was my very first involvement in Livingston, I decided that I would spend time getting involved in my synagogue. And from there, I became a trustee, an officer, and I had the honor of being a president for 4 years at Temple B'nai Abraham.
You know that if you're a shul president, it's an automatic ticket into heaven.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. More so than the mayor of Livingston. Shul president for sure. You go straight to heaven.
Well, as I know your congregant, Dr. Rabbi, will tell you, it's a lot easier being the mayor than it is being a shul president.
Yeah. You think we can get him back?
As both?
On the council?
I'd love to. I've many times. He'd be wonderful. Love to get him on the council, or
get a Republican back on the ticket.
You know what? You want to talk about Republicans and Democrats and small town politics? It means absolutely nothing. D's, R's, I's, G's. I talk about it all the time. Mean absolutely nothing to me. It's all about helping the community, and that's how I've lived. That's how I've been the last 11 years. It's been on the council for 11 years. Very fortunate enough to be for 3 elections, and I enjoy it because I help people. I pick up my phone. When people call me, my first question is, not what your political belief is how can I help you?
Right.
And
it's not without its cost. I mean, we certainly you've had a difficult few weeks in the recent past. Maybe want to chat about that a little bit. I mean, obviously we had this event in Suburban Torah, and you got doxxed.
I got doxxed. So General Galan, is that Galan?
Yes, Galan
came to Suburban Torah on November 11th to speak, and somewhere around 2 o'clock that afternoon, I was actually with the chief of police, who I know is another dear friend of yours, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, I have 2 phones, he carries 2 phones, all 4 phones blew up at the same time. We were at the meeting that we were at, and I was doxxed, and someone showed me the video of somebody dox me. I never even understood that.
Crazy.
I never knew that word before, actually.
I saw that too.
I never knew that word. And, they were protesting. They were upset that General Gallant was coming to Suburban Torah. And it was, you have to, call Governor Murphy, you have to call Governor-elect Cheryl, but the biggest, and I can't repeat all the other words that were used, was you have to go after the mayor of Livingston. And, they were very, they knew right away, and they proud to say I'm Jewish and I love the state of Israel, and they saw me testifying. They had a video of me testifying in Trenton this past summer to move the anti-Semitism bill out of committee, which was one of my proudest moments I think I had in the 11 years of being on this council, getting that honor to do that. And so they doxed me, and they had my name, my address, my phone number, my picture, and at the end of the video, unfortunately, it was followed by 2 gunshots. And that was scary for my family. My wife and I were home alone. Our kids are out in the world, and so they're not home, but they both saw it, and they were both concerned as well. And I will tell you, the Livingston Police, as you know, Rabbi, there's nobody finer than our Livingston Police Force.
But it's scary, like this. But this becomes sort of de rigueur. It becomes acceptable today. That what was completely, you couldn't even say out loud. Now it's like, not a big deal. And we just seen obviously the events of the last week. And I mean, I can't emphasize enough what you said about the Livingston Police, and not only the great relationship that we have with them, but their professionalism and their, they get in touch with me before I can get in touch with them. Chief already was in touch. We're having extra patrols and this. I mean, it's sad that that's what it comes to, and the amount of time that we spend on security matters, but township matters. I think it's they all fuse together, and it's really it's just a scary thing. But to have your personal information, your picture, and that sort of fear put into you as an individual is downright scary.
It's very scary. It was followed by those gunshots, like I had mentioned, and then within the next 72 to 96 hours, I received about a dozen death threats on my cell phone, and that's really I never thought I was that important. I mean, I guess I hit a nerve with these folks, which is what you want to do, and I was I was proud that my work has stood out for certain people, because as everybody knows, I love my religion. I'm very proud of who I am, and I'm very proud of supporting the state of Israel at all costs.
So that strengthens your resolve?
100%. People said to me, you should change your cell phone number. That was the first thing that you have to change your cell phone number. And I said, I've had this one number for all the years that cell phones have been around. I don't even know how many years they've been around at this point. It's the only number I've ever had. And if I change my number, they win. And that's not going to happen. That wasn't even a thought in my mind. As I said, the police have been very good. They've watched my house. They keep watching my house. I have a police car. I have a protection in my house. So I feel safe about that. But I wasn't going to let them win. And I guess, as I said, I hit a nerve, and that's the nerve I hit with these folks. And and General Galan spoke. I had a chance to meet him actually for a few minutes and see his safety detail. I kind of told the chief that he has to step it up a little after seeing the Mossad folks that came and protected him that evening. But that evening was we had as most people know, 10 people were arrested. 2 of them carried weapons. Third one was arrested for trying to get the holster out of one of our LPD's. One of the guns out of the LPD's holsters. 2 police officers were injured and wound up at the hospital that evening. And so it was, quite an evening, and something we're not, we don't see in Livingston. We never saw before, and hopefully we'll never see again. And I think they've moved on to the next. We saw what happened in New York the following week at the synagogue on Park Avenue, and obviously what's taking place in Australia and all these other places, Brown, MIT. I mean, it's the world is crazy, and thank God that we have people looking out for us here in our own town.
Right. But you've always been steadfast in your support, and the council, and not every member of the council is Jewish, but steadfast support on having our flag raising and all of our ceremony. And by the way, not just for the Jewish community, but for all the communities. I think this is a great place to live.
So that's what I wanted to mention.
And that's because of you, and that's because of your council and what you do.
I think that's very important for all of us. We talk about it all the time, how Livingston is a diverse, welcoming, and caring community. Those are the words that we use, and I think everybody who follows any part of this town will understand that's exactly what goes on. And yes, we love the Israeli flag. We love the Israeli flag raising. We've been doing it for years. We were the first council many, many, many years ago, 9-10 years ago, when it came to the
BDS.
The BDS. Yeah, we passed. Thank you. We passed.
You're the first to have a resolution.
We were the first. Yeah, we were the first on a 5-0 basis. Somebody came. I think Sherry Goldberg actually came to us and said she'd like us to pass that. And without the next week, it was on the agenda and it passed. I have a picture of us 9-10 years ago holding the Israeli flag at the town council meeting. So it's not just Israel, though. It's not just the Israeli flag. We do 7-8 flag raisings throughout the year, and it shows the community who we are and how we care for the entire community, and that's what we do, and that's really the essence of why people should get involved. It's important to get involved, but it's important to get involved for the right reason. And the reason is to make sure that this town is the best town that it can be. And one of the things that we always talk about, I stress, whether it be temple president or on the council, is that our job is not just about the here and now. And Rabbi, you know this, it's also about planning for the next 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. And that's what I'm very proud of, that I come from that perspective. I'm not a lawyer or a doctor on the council. I'm a businessman. I owned a business for 30 years. So I understand the business acumen things side of stuff, and you have to run it. And I used to talk when I was Temple president. Unfortunately, you got to run a little bit like a business as well as a shul president. You have to understand the numbers and what looks good, what looks bad, and to think about
and
the future.
Trends and viability and things evolving. I mean, these are all. I mean, I think about this constantly.
I'm sure you do. But
you can't just say, "Well, this is how we've always been doing it." That just doesn't work.
Exactly.
You have to see. So just kind of going back to your terms. What's your feeling as your term is ending and you're just rotating back as a regular
councilman? Listen, I'll enjoy passing on some of the reins to the mayor-elect, Dr. Sean Klein, who's been a friend of mine now for the last 12 years. We've run together 3 elections, and we've gone very close. And Sean's going to do a great job for this town. I'm going to enjoy continuing my work on the council. Nothing's going to change. Maybe, once a mayor, always a mayor. So, it is, I'll still have the title, whatever. But I'll enjoy doing the work that I continue to work. I'm not going to change anything. I'll have to give a few less speeches, and maybe I can miss one event or two, not make all the events once in a while. But my wife will be happy about that, and it'll be great because I just enjoy making sure that our town is the best town that it could be. And I always say that I think 99% of the residents are happy in town. I think I look at that and I'm very proud of that. We have the town council meetings. We wish more people would come and listen and hear and give our opinions, but we get our attendance isn't that great, but that's part of who we are. But the one thing I always say when people come to town council meetings and they speak, everyone's allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes on any subject you want to speak about. And the mayor gets to respond if he or she wants to respond. But my first response always is, thank you for coming. And I write the same way when I respond to my emails. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for coming to the meetings. Because if we don't know what you're talking about and we don't know the issues that you're bringing up, if you don't bring it up to us, how are we going to know? It's very difficult for us to know everything. And so we always appreciate when people take time and to come and tell us what.
And it should be an indication, because I know that people that come usually have something they want to complain about or gripe about. They're those usual people that probably want to just because they have nothing else to do. But they're not so many. I watch them. It's great. It's great theater. But I have watched the meetings.
It's getting better these days.
And the fact that there are so few people that are sort of with gripes and complaints, and that's probably a good indication because most people are happy.
That is the indication that I have that, as I said, I believe 99% of the people are happy, and so we don't get a lot of people these days, and so it's great. I mean, but when people come out, I will tell you, 99% of the people when they do come out, their gripes are legit. They're not coming just to say something that's not legit. Most of the time, we actually say, "Wow, yes," and we didn't know about that.
We didn't know. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
And that's exactly right. I mean, it's it's a great story. I tell this one story all the time. You might appreciate this. When I was Temple president, I got a phone call from a congregant, and they were complaining bitterly that the rabbi didn't visit the grandmother in the hospital. And I said, "Yeah, I feel bad. You're absolutely right." I said, "But did the rabbi know that your grandmother was in the hospital?" And she said, "Well, I just thought he knows that." So it's kind of that's been a story.
We're only as good as the information that we have.
That's been a story I've said in the last 20 years, and it's it's a humorous story, but it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So if people want to, call me up, text me, email me. The Dotson situation, they found all my contact information online on the town website. And it's been on there since the day that I was elected, and it's not coming down, because if you can't find me and you can't reach out to me and you can't tell me what the issue is, then all of us shouldn't be a council member.
Right.
And that's how I truly feel about the residents of
you want to be
town.
Open, transparent, and I think that especially it's Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah today, and first of all, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah to you and your family.
But
thank you.
A time when there's so much darkness in the world, we use the sort of trite line that everybody uses, bring so much light into the world. But the truth is that we're not going to be deterred. We're here, and we have what to do, and we have what to offer to the world, and nobody's going to stop us from doing that. And you're just a shining example of what it means to give back and to be a community leader. And I just wanted to say, on behalf of our community and our synagogue, Eitz Chaim, we thank you so much for your friendship and your dedication and your steadfast loyalty, really, to our ideals, but to the ideals of this community. We could not be more proud to be part of the Livingston community at large, and having your friendship and partnership is a big part of that. So I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking some time with us.
Yeah, Rabbi, thank you. Well, one of the things I'm very proud of, to be honest with you, is I can honestly say, and I feel very good about this, that I'm friends with all the rabbis in this community, and that to me means a lot. I mean, I have a little special relationship with different ones, and you and I get to see each other a little more sometimes on the golf course once in a while in the nice weather. But it's it is what it is. But it's a nice way of being friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that friendship that I have with all the rabbis, and it's very important to me. I feel very fortunate who I am. In 30 seconds I tell the story. My dad came to this country in 1939 with his parents and his grandmother with $3 in their pocket, and here I am today riding with the Rabbi Klebanov.
Such nachas.
So that's to me is the biggest thrill I have.
And this will be seen by, my tagline, this will be seen by tens of people. So
well, that's 10 more than see the town. That's 10 more than come to a town council.
So maybe we'll do
meeting.
both. We should have a both. Anyway, come to the town council meetings, please. Let's make a show. Even if it's just to come and say thank you, I think that's a great idea. When's the next meeting? It's Monday, right?
No. So our next meeting, we're done for this year. So our next meeting will be the second Monday in January, which I believe is the 12th or 14th, whatever that Monday is in January. I don't know the date. 7:30, Town Hall. The schedule is posted online for the rest of the year as well. So anytime you want to come,
we'll know exactly who's watching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have it. We have a good list of who's watching.
Okay.
And so we know. So come watch, or let me know what you want. Let me know if you have an issue. I'm always happy to talk to everybody.
But more importantly, just let them know and say thank you. I think that would be. You don't have to use the whole 3 minutes. You can just use the 10 seconds. And that clock that counts down the whole time.
Say thank you. Say thank you to all of us, because we do it. We do it as a collective group. There's no I in team that expression, and it's always a we. And the we's win a lot.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your
Rabbi,
time.
thank you so much.
Chag Sameach.
To you
and good luck
family.
to you, and thank you again for your
you.
term, and good luck in your next
Thank you so much, and enjoy.